Dave Revson, Gerry DiNardo, Urban Meyer, a fabulous performance by Ohio State, not just winning, but dismantling Clemson here in the Sugar Bowl, guys. And you talked a lot, Urban, in the build-up to this about preparation for the bowl game and how you get your team focused. And it was pretty clear, certainly as the second quarter unfolded from there on in, that Ohio State was more prepared and more focused. Why do you think that is?
Well, there is a saying, and we have it through the Woody Hayes facility, and Coach Day's kept it, and that's the most prepared teams win games. In games like this, where the talent's fairly equated. You know, a lot of times you have to motivate a team when you're playing a team that's lesser than you. But when you're playing a team that's even with you, it's all about preparation. And we all know what happened last week. The Buckeyes at one practice had 41 players because of COVID and other stuff going on. A lot of it added morale because players had to be away from their families during Christmas. And I was talking to Coach Day and some of the other coaches, and then something happened. And disrespect, you know, that when Coach Sweeney came out and ranked them 11th behind Iowa State and Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to make too much of that, but you try to get your teams to practice the best you can. I can tell you, I was told they had the 3 best practices they've had in a long time right after that.
Yeah, I think it supports what we said before the game, that bulletin board material doesn't necessarily make a lot of difference while the game's going on, but it certainly helps you to prepare your team, and I think that was really evident. I think the other thing that was evident today is the emotion. I mean, I don't know that I've seen Ohio State that emotional, certainly not this year with all the distractions. Clemson seemed to me to be very unemotional. I mean, they were kind of just walking through the game. The other reason I think the preparation was so evident was it didn't start that well for Ohio State. Right. It really didn't. But they had the confidence that they were eventually going to get into the game plan. And then there was a time there when it was 3 and out, 4 and out with Clemson, and Ohio State totally took over the game. They were the more prepared team.
Right. So the preparation, the emotion, all of those intangibles, certainly it seems like from what both of you guys are saying, played into it. But on the field, and again, that manifests itself in the buildup, but on the field, it was a dominant performance. There was certainly a lot more to it, Urban, than preparation and emotion. How did you see it play out on the field?
Well, I did, but go back to the preparation, and this is something everyone has to remember. These are not professional athletes. These are 17 years old, 18-year-old, 19-year-olds that have been through it tough. And Coach Day, his staff, and the leaders on the team, I'm hearing Justin Fields speak right now. There's really good leadership on that team. They did not play great against Northwestern, but you know what? Northwestern beat Auburn. Maybe Northwestern's a little better than we all think, and that was and I'm one of those guys. I'm much respect to Wisconsin. What happened tonight was this. The offensive and defensive lines dominated the line of scrimmage. There wasn't even close. And that unfolded rather quickly. I mean, Coach DiNardo and I sat there and watched. You could see the line of scrimmage changing, especially on offense. And then the defense started taking over, obviously, when Clemson fell behind and they were enforced in passing situations. But make no mistake about it, this game was the difference from the get-go was the offensive line and defensive line. Ohio State controlled the line of scrimmage.
That was... I didn't really predict that. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be that dominant. I mean, I thought it was going to be a little better matchup at the line of scrimmage, but Coach is right. I mean, it was clear Ohio State was going to dominate the line of scrimmage the more the game wore on.
I mean, the rushing yards certainly bear that out. That's always the ultimate gauge of the line of scrimmage. Ohio State outgained Clemson on the ground by more than 200 yards, fellas, as Trey Sermon once again just an outstanding game.
And you have to think, remember, Etienne's one of the best backs. Getting ready to prepare for this game, watching it on videotape. I still think he's one of the most underrated, but to shut him down like that was a domination of the defensive line at Ohio State.
32 yards for Etienne. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's outstanding.
He is one of the best players in the country, one of the best running backs in the country. To hold him to 32 yards is extraordinary.
All-time leading rusher in the history of the ACC. Ohio State able to beat a team it had never beaten before. Only team Ohio State had played 4 times or more and never defeated the Clemson Tigers. That is history. Ohio State headed to the national championship game to take on Alabama.